What goes up must come down, and apparently back up again. October has been a rough month for the major averages, but this week fear gave way to buying, and strong profit reports led the market to its strongest rally of the year. But now Ebola is in New York City, and we're seeing a ripple effect in stocks. That leads our CNN Money Top 5 this week. Our CNN Money panel is here, Paul, Monica, and Christina Alessi. Paul, we haven't had a correction yet in the stock market in 3 years. Not a true correction in the S&P 500 in 3 years. Is this streak going to continue, especially if we do still have uncertainties about Ebola out there?
I think there's a decent chance that we may avoid a full-blown correction. Yes, Ebola is scary. The news of the doctor in New York City really amplifies those fears, but right now, I think the more important point to make about the broader market is that don't focus so much on the indexes. So many stocks have fallen from their highs, more than 10%, some more than 20%. So some stocks are in bear markets.
Yeah.
I think we have had a correction, even if it's not in name only. So I think that is something that's important here. And a lot of buyers are scooping up these bargain stocks that probably were oversold.
Corrections are a good thing because if you have to get in and lower stock prices, that's how you do that. Let's talk a little bit about the Ebola factor, though, here, because you have Ebola in New York City. You have the big corporate titans now giving money away, giving $25 million in the case of Facebook, $100 million in the case of Paul Allen, giving money to the cause. You have stocks, actually, that are moving. Some of these hazmat suit. I mean, it is a factor in the market, even if it's not bringing the whole market down.
Oh, absolutely, it's a factor. And, I didn't think I would be saying that about a month ago. I looked at that and I said, Ebola's not going to move the market. Right. But now that it's in New York, you have this, very big city that's a global entryway, and it really hits home for a lot of people. So that could influence. It's the outlier that we haven't really focused on until now. I think New York changes the game, especially because it's the center of Wall Street. It brings it home. Also, on the tech billionaire front, it does seem like they are trying to outdo themselves, one after another. Paul Allen recently saying he's going to increase his commitment to $100 million. Right. That's a lot of money, especially considering the fact that you have industries like the chocolate industry that is perhaps the one most exposed to this crisis because that's where they get their supply of cocoa, and they're only contributing about $600,000 to the effort. So this puts pressure on industries and potentially other big billionaires to give some more.
From buying stocks to buying, everything else, Apple Pay launched this week, but not without a few hiccups. Some Bank of America customers were charged twice for purchases. Apple says it only affected a small number of users. The company and Bank of America worked a fix to refund all of those duplicate charges. So, Apple has a rollout, guys. Rollouts have glitches. That's going to happen. But big picture, are we at the dawn of a cashless society here?
I think we still need to see more big retailers adopt this. I mean,
Walmart's not on board.
Is not on board. Best Buy is not on board. That will limit the use of Apple Pay to a certain extent. And also, even though, yes, most of the big banks, such as Bank of America, to the chagrin of our own Samuel Burke, has adopted Apple Pay, I also think that there are a lot of people, particularly in middle America, that don't bank with one of the giants.
Right.
So are we ever going to see community banks and credit unions adopt Apple Pay as well?
Will Apple Pay
really
be the standard? Because there have been other attempts, the Google Wallet, there have been other attempts to do this, and it's been trying to change consumer sentiment that has been the hurdle, making people feel like it's safe and they want to use it. I've been asking all week people, how much money do you have in your pocket? And everybody I talk to actually has money in their pocket. So, we still are this society where we're using credit cards. We have the phone, the credit card in our phone and also cash in our wallet.
Right, so I'm not sure the credit card companies go extinct because I think they're going to be a big part of
absolutely.
this.
Well, they're now, they are in the middle now.
Right.
But the question is, going down the line, are they even necessary?
No question. It's all going to look very different in just a few years, no question. Okay, fresh off of GM's recall nightmare, another disconcerting development for auto safety. Safety regulators are telling millions of car owners with airbags made by Japan's Takata, replace them immediately. Nearly 8 million cars have been recalled, made by automakers including GM, Toyota, Honda, BMW. Now, this is urgent. When these airbags inflate, they can send exploding metal fragments into your face and neck. Christina, safety investigators say they know of 6 incidents. Could there be more?
Well, there's definitely one that's very graphic. It's the woman in Florida who was in a car accident, and there were stab-like wounds in her neck after the airbag exploded. Local authorities say that the car crash alone could not have killed her, so it had to have been it has to have been the debris from the airbag.
And they initially investigated it as a homicide because
of the condition of the body. this so bad. But the recalls themselves were focused in areas of persistent high humidity and heat, right? And some Congress members have come out and said that's ridiculous. This should be a nationwide recall because it is so dangerous to be in a car with one of these airbags. You know, the national regulator shot back saying, we don't have enough parts to address the entire nation. Let's address the areas where this has hit most acutely and make sure that those cars are addressed first.
The Gulf Coast, Florida, Puerto Rico, that's what we're talking about.
Big surprise someone in Congress wants to hold a hearing in a midterm election year. But I think one of the things that we need to keep in mind, though, the automotive companies have all been recalling everything for the most, the slightest problem imaginable.
This one matters.
This one is big, and it's surprising that the automakers themselves are not out front more.
I think 1 in 5 cars on the road is recalled right now, and people have recall fatigue. But in this case in particular, really important to note that regulators saying it is urgent that car has to be fixed, that airbag has to be fixed. From cars to tech, investors fed up with Amazon, shares falling sharply after the company reported a $437 million quarterly loss. Now, losing money, guess what? That's nothing new for Amazon. Sales jumped 20%, but it looks like shareholders may have done waiting for Amazon to turn profitable. On the flip side, investors loving Microsoft. Sales soared 25% in the latest quarter on the back of cloud services, Xbox, even Surface tablets and Nokia smartphones. Paul, who needs Windows?
Despite all of the problems that they had, the PR nightmare with Nadella's comments regarding women and not asking for raises, Nadella's the right person for the Microsoft job right now. He's the cloud guru. Every software company, including Amazon, is going the cloud route, and that is the way software is going to be sold.
That is also a problem that you're going head-to-head with Amazon, because I have spoken to people in the marketplace who say that it is a race to the bottom with the cloud. Because
without question.
It's very price competitive. So, yes, revenue from this particular segment was up, but what are the margins like on this business?
Here are some toys that would never make it into a Happy Meal, you guys, but they did make it into Toys R Us. Action figures depicting characters from the TV series Breaking Bad upset a group of moms in Florida this week. They started an online petition that got 9,000 signatures and thousands of likes. Toys R Us eventually removed the products from the stores, but not before actor Bryan Cranston weighed in. This is what he tweeted. "I'm so bad, I'm burning my Florida mom action figure in protest." He, of course, played the chemistry teacher turned meth dealer Walter White in that series. Is this the power of social media or an overreaction by parents?
Paul, would you buy one for your children?
I would not buy
a
Walter White
15 years
figurine for either of my sons, because one is about to turn 5 and the other is 16 months. They're not going to watch Breaking Bad, obviously, anytime soon, but I think this might be a little bit of an overreaction. I mean, and we've had this all the time, even before social media. Remember when you had moms protesting Married with Children when that show first came on Fox? I mean, yes, the toys are a little insensitive. I mean, they could have been a lot worse for any fans of the show. You could have had a Tortuga figurine or Gus with half his face coming off.
Gross.
So hey.
Gross. I do think social media gives people a voice where maybe this would never have risen to the surface. Now everyone can talk about it.
Yeah, I do remember situations where moms or other parents had issues with
the kind of Barbie.
over sexualized female doll figures. So.
And Aaron Paul tweeted about Barbie saying, hey, what's more offensive here? And he's the guy who played Jesse.
All right, well, for the record, those things were meant for 15 and higher. People said they shouldn't be in a Toys R Us.
And they might have been in the Los Pollos Hermanos.
What 15-year-old goes into a Toys R Us, by the way? Do 15-year-olds go?
I don't know.
Does anyone go to Toys R Us?
That's a better question.